Hello world, Retro Play with me here. You can just call me RPM. Here trying something a little new today. Normally we just do long plays, gameplays, faceless, no commentary. I think I'm gonna try something new. As a lifelong gamer, I have always kept up with what's new, but on this channel I've always focused on the retro side of things because, let's face it, in my opinion, gaming nowadays has become a little stale. So I like to, relive the old days where gaming was a little different, a little more difficult, and let's face it, a little bit more fun. But with that said, I do keep up with the new stuff that's out right now. So today, this morning, September 10th, PlayStation has just released a new presentation talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro. So I thought maybe I'd, go over that with you guys, give you my thoughts, my opinions on it, and see how this format works out for everybody here. So the presentation started out with a recap of the PlayStation 5. It really felt like it was just a filler to try and fill the whole 10 minutes that they wanted to go with for this presentation. Part of me was saying that it's there because they wanted people to remember what a PlayStation 5 can do, with the abundance of software that's been coming out lately. So it really focused in on, with the PlayStation 5, having to choose between fidelity mode and performance mode. And they played them side by side, and yes, there are minor differences. Me personally, I have a PlayStation 5. I love my PlayStation 5 for what I play on it, and I always play everything in fidelity mode. I figured if I'm gonna buy it for the graphics, I'm gonna buy it. I have a good TV, a good enough TV to support the resolution and show it off. So I love to play it in fidelity mode. I have played it in performance mode. And you can throw all the specs you want me. I am not a specs kind of guy. I am a, how does it work for me kind of guy. So me personally, an experienced kind of guy. So for me, when I play them both, I don't notice much of a difference on it. The fidelity mode, between the graphics and fidelity and performance, it's minute. There are more details in the fidelity mode, and they do show it off in here. And show you the differences. And then the fidelity mode sometimes can be a little choppy. That hasn't really been my experience. I think I experienced it once or twice on Ratchet and Clank, but yeah, not so much on that one. And then they start talking about the PS5 Pro specs and what it adds. So they gave it a bigger processor, they gave it more RAM, and a new AI-driven upscaling that they're doing to it. So, and they showed it side by side, and it does look good. So it's basically what they're trying to do is take the need for having to choose from fidelity and performance and putting it together so that when you choose fidelity, you get the performance output. They showed it side by side a lot in this presentation. I do have it playing in the background right now. And yeah, I agree. It does look a little better. It looks a lot, it's a little crisper, it's a little clearer. Some of the textures, the backgrounds, the performance on it, I'm not going to take away from it. It does look better. The hard part to swallow is the final screen in the presentation, which is that it comes out November 7th of this year. So it's actually coming really soon. It's an all digital, no disc, but it's coming out at $700. $700 is quite a bit of money. Also, I don't know, I've seen a couple other things on it. The vertical stand is also sold separately. It doesn't come with it. So it's just $700 to me does not feel like it's a whole lot that you're getting for your money in comparison to the regular PS5. I really feel like the PS5 right now is not even being used to its full potential. I feel like PlayStation, since the end of PlayStation 2, has really not had their finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world. The PS3 debuted at an astronomically high price for the time. I forgot what it was. I think it was like $350 or $400. I just remember seeing the commercial or the presentation for it at E3 and just going, oh my goodness. But so that one was just crazy high. And then the PlayStation Portal PSP, when they took their hand at doing a portable console, was an amazing console. I remember standing in line at a GameStop when I was living and going to college to get it on day one, and I'd never heard of it until one of my buddies told me about it, and he talked me into it that day. But that was an amazing console. Like I got it with Twisted Metal, Luminous, and Ridge Racer, and those aren't even the 3 best games on the system, and they were amazing. The PS3 ended up being a pretty good console, but nowhere near as good as like the Xbox 360 was. The PS4 was actually a really good console, and that one also had a PS4 Pro on it, which I still say, what was the point of that? Because all it was a little bit better of a system, and all these mid-console refreshes feel like cash grabs to me, which, I mean, I can't blame them. They're a business. That's what they're there for. That's all good for me. It just doesn't do it for me. The PS4 Pro did have a little bit more, but then the PS5 came out, and it came out in an unfortunate time. It was hard to get a hold of. It's hard to manufacture, and the PS4 software backwards compatibility lasted probably longer than it should have, because I think that cut into the PS5 sales, because people were saying, if it's coming up with PS4, what's the point? If you have a Pro, it wasn't too much different than a PS5. And then, as we keep going, the PS Vita, probably one of the best handhelds ever made, but super underutilized. That console was wonderful. It's still used today. If you go on to YouTube, go on to eBay, they're still selling for near same price. And almost every game that was on it, as far as third party is concerned, was ported over to the Switch, because of the fact that they were that good at games, and that system was way overpowered for what it should have been. I still love mine. I still play mine today. And then you have the PlayStation Portal, and this is, like I said, with the PS5 lifetime, I feel like PlayStation is kind of just doing what they want to do and not really got their finger on the pulse. Like I said, the PlayStation Portal to me is like a why system. Like, why create it? You have the system that, only works if you are on the Wi-Fi, and then you have to have the system turned on. It's, it just did remote play. Me personally, if I'm gonna play my PlayStation 5, I'm just gonna play it on the system. I don't really see the point in being able to go to a different room in my house and play it handheld. But back to the PS5 Pro, I'm sorry, that was just like a random rant on the history of PlayStation. But the PlayStation 5 Pro, so my question is who is this made for? What is the point of it? Because I feel that the graphics, although an improvement, are not a good enough improvement to warrant such a price hike. You're going up $200 from the price of the already expensive PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 is already $500 in a struggling economy. So I feel that that's just gonna be a hard pill to swallow. What we want as gamers is software. We want the games. We want more games. It's like they keep getting away from the things that made PlayStation. For instance, like, why is Nintendo so successful with such an underpowered system? And it's their software. Their software has their franchises that are getting them a lot of money, or that build a fan base and people come endeared to, but not to mention just the variety of software. For instance, you got your platformers with the Mario Brothers, you got your RPGs with the Xenoblades, you have your adventure games with the Zeldas, and then even Zeldas in themselves, they have different types of Zeldas. They have like the Breath of the Wild, open world, do what you want. They have the dungeon Zeldas, much like the old school ones. You got top view, third person view. Mario has his RPGs. They got Mario Party, you got Mario Kart. So you have something in their franchise that is loved for every type of genre of game. PlayStation right now seems to just be focusing on those single player story driven third person games. You know, Last of Us, which is a wonderful game. I love Last of Us. Horizon, I had trouble playing that one. It was a little too long-winded for me. But you know, they got the RPGs with Squaresoft and the Final Fantasy franchise. But even those have started in the most recent, almost feeling like those single player third person driven story driven games. You know, God of War, all their games are the same, so it kind of doesn't really give you too much variety as far as going through. So I just think that what they need to do, I don't really know where I'm going with this, I'm kind of ranting, and I apologize. This is my first video on camera. If this is something you guys like, please like, comment. We can do more for any kind of big news that's coming up. But my thing is just software. We need games. That roadmap they put up a few months ago showed nothing coming out for 2024. Look at Astrobot. Astrobot just came out. Astrobot is phenomenal, and it's even gotten good super reviews. People are saying it's better than the Mario games are. So I need PlayStation, Sony to kind of start pumping out some games, some quality games, not just pumping out crap. But I think that's just what they need to do to get on price. I mean, the extra hardware, let's face it, you might have the most powerful machine on the market, but if you got nothing to play on it, all it is just a $700 paperweight. Those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'm really trying to build my channel. It'd be great if you guys help me out. If this is something that you guys like, you like hearing me rant, like hearing me talk about what's going on, let me know in the comments. Other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day.